least one of these should provide an earth through the alternator as it's not going round. So I've got choice of three. The reason I'm asking any of these questions is because although I have a diagram showing me which one should be which, so far I haven't had any luck out of it, so I'm starting to doubt whether that may be correct. So I'll plug it in. Right, where was I? I plugged in the plug into the back of the alternator, my earth wire. Now I'm now going to connect it to the plug wires which are trailing. Each luckily has a connector on it, and the one that it should be battery warning light, I think, is this one here. So with any luck, and I can't see even if you can, we'll see if that causes the battery light on the dashboard to come on. And lo and behold, nothing. So no battery warning light earthing itself through the alternator. Interesting. I shall have to try the other ones. And this one is the right hand one in the plug. No, we still have no battery light. Interesting. Got one more chance. Still no battery light. And just for completeness, in case I have accidentally put the same one on twice or something like that, instead of each in turn, I'm going to put them all three on at once. We'll see. And there we have it. All three of those alternator terminals are now shorted together, and at least one of them should be providing an earth connection to the warning light, but it isn't. So I'm forced now into considering whether in fact there's something wrong with the alternator. That's weird. Very bizarre. I've established a couple of things. The connector that I was using, that goes in the back of the alternator, this is the so-called Type 4 connector for that type of alternator. And anyway, it is connected through. I did wonder, after all these weird type of events, in case it could be faulty, but no, it's perfectly well wired up. There seems to be a bit of a paucity of information as to which wire does which, actually. You can buy these things, but they don't seem to tell you which is which. Now, this is the so-called Type 4, and it does actually give the functions. So that's what I've been using. But since none of them are making the battery warning light come on, none of them, does make you wonder. Now I suppose there's just a chance that the ignition needs to be, I mean the battery is directly connected, what am I trying to say here? The meter is going directly onto the alternator. Shouldn't need the battery to be switched on just to provide an earth connection, I don't think, because the thing that makes the battery light up is the ignition coming on. And clearly that's not actually what I'm testing. I'm applying, rather than applying voltage to it via the ignition, I'm applying it directly via a meter. So I don't think there's any requirement for a battery to be on to make that work. But yeah, an earth should be earth. So I'm just wondering if the blinking thing's faulty now. A strange noise in the background. Nothing to do with me. Anyway, I'm having to consider that possibility. Having to do that. Okay. Right, so considering that my experiments so far have failed to identify the correct connection for the bulb on the dashboard to come on, bulb being battery warning light, I'm going to have to do something else. So I have the alternator that was on the car a moment ago. Now this is a replacement alternator because the one that was previously on the car is this one, and that appeared not to be working, so I bought this one to make it work. It doesn't. So there was me thinking it must be a problem with the wiring then, and maybe it was. But anyway, having followed some instructions on internet, I've now got a little bit of an experiment going on. This is how the experiment goes. You earth the body of the alternator, so a car battery on the floor there. You provide the positive terminal with a battery feed, also coming from the battery down on the floor there. You then have a light bulb conveniently connected with a loop of wire around the outside, and you plug it in to the bulb connector on the alternator like that, and then you touch the bulb on the battery post and you should get some, and indeed we do, a bit of, it's not very bright though, is it? And then you spin up the alternator using a trusty electric spanner, as I call it. See what happens, which is a little bit fiddly to do. And as you saw, nothing happened. And just to check in case I've got the wrong terminal, because there's two of these, if it goes on the other terminal, nothing happens anyway. So back to what is meant to be the bulb terminal, and then we have this rather dim light. Okay, so that's the one that originally was suspect. So go over to the one that was on the car just a minute ago, which I've now taken off. It's a bit cleaner and shinier, as you can see, but other than that it's exactly the same. So earth onto the body, battery post is in a slightly different position down here, and because the connector is different, according to my instruction from Bry's Automotive, the type 4 connector says that the right hand one with little tags straight up is the one for the lamp, and in fact that is confirmed with a little label just here on the Denso label. So the right hand one is actually this one, because it's hanging upside down slightly at the moment. So connect onto that, and as before, see if we can get anything from the bulb, and as you can see, nothing doing. And in case the documentation was wrong or I've made a mistake or something, I'll try the other two. Nothing on that one either. Nothing on that one either. So nothing doing. There's no point in spinning this one up because it's not working anyway. So does the whole idea of this method work? Well, let's find out. Because over here I have got another alternator, which is actually bought experimentally, kind of thing, for the Gilbern Invader over here. In case it's a bit, well, it is a bit smaller than the one that came with the AJ30 engine, which is down in a heap down there. It's a bit dim, but you don't really need to see it anyway. Anyway, so I had this one. I believe it was Not sure if it's a Toyota or a Subaru. Anyway, it was quite cheap, so I thought I'd buy it to try it out. Anyway, let's try out the theory, the testing theory. So again, earth side to the chassis of the alternator, the positive side to the battery post of the alternator, and if I've got the right connector, there's the connector in there, and if I've got the right one, the light should come on. Yes, it does. And notice how it's a lot brighter than it was on the other one. So now to spin it up. Now I suspect I won't be able to get full engine speed out of this, but I'm sure it will be enough for the experimental purpose. So watch this. I think basically I can't get it to go fast enough, but you can, I definitely think you can see the bulb get dimmer. And the